I've been traveling internationally for 20 plus years now and reviewing travel gear on the internet for 5 years now. And in that time, I've tested hundreds of travel products. So I thought it would be cool to look back at all of it and put together my absolute top picks of the last 5 years. In a market where there's always a new gadget, everything's always improving, these are the things that I genuinely love and use. They've got great user experience, they're useful, and they last. Starting with bags. This is my all-time favorite packable day pack, the WANDRD VEER. When my wife and I were getting ready to travel full-time for 6 months, I did a ton of research on day packs, and this is the one that I chose to carry for 6 straight months. Things I love about it: super durable materials, high denier aerobic nylon, cushy straps and ventilated back panel, plus an inflatable insert for the back panel that gives it some extra cushion. The main zipper has this extra locking mechanism that I really like. It's got 18 liters of capacity and weighs less than a pound. One reason I chose this bag in particular is you could buy an inflatable camera cube that goes with it. I absolutely love this bag. It's got a very smart design, and the sad news is this one's discontinued. I think there are some corners of the internet where you could still find it, but now you know why I never talk about it. I've reviewed tons of other great day packs, and we'll link that somewhere here on the screen. I promise. I think nothing else in this video is discontinued. Okay, when it comes to travel backpacks, it's the Air Travel Packs for me. It was the Air Travel Pack 3, and now it's the Air Travel Pack 4 in X-Pack. I've carried these bags all over the world. I've lived out of them for months-long stretches at a time. It's the bag in my dream one-bag travel setup, and even though I've reviewed tons of travel backpacks, Air's bags keep winning because when I sit down and score all of these bags against each other, category by category, Air is on the podium across the board. Materials, warranty, airline compliance, load lifters, straight up utility and usability. And when you factor all of that for the price, these are kind of Goldilocks bags that you're able to get for cheaper than some of their direct competitors. They aren't perfect bags. The biggest trade-off, I would say, is weight. The Travel Pack 4 is still just under 4 pounds, even after they slimmed it down. When I look at these bags strictly objectively and by the data, or just honestly observing my own personal behavior in terms of what I continue to reach for, these bags are just winners. Okay, so when I'm rolling instead of carrying, it is the Bellroy Transit. Super smooth and quiet Hinomoto wheels, packing cells included in the case instead of being upsold to you, 10-year warranty, and it's $299. For a hard shell that performs like this, that's not the expensive end of the market. That's kind of the sensible end. But the thing that truly makes it a 5-year pick for me is Bellroy designed this case so you can replace the parts yourself. Wheels, handles, telescoping handle, the TSA lock, bust a wheel on your trip, you can order the part, swap it at home in about 10 minutes. No shipping your suitcase off to a repair center for a month. All right, moving on to some wearables. Since I've owned this next item, I think I've taken exactly 1 trip without it. And I'm not joking, I regretted it the first day. The Unbound Merino Compact Travel Hoodie. I love this thing, dude. This thing is so comfortable. I basically live in it year round. I wear it around the house when I'm not traveling, but I also wear it on every single flight because the second the cabin heats up, you can shed it. Merino wool is the travel material. It regulates temperature and it packs pretty small. The catch is the price. Merino isn't cheap, but dang, I love this thing. All right, sticking with wool for a second, I swear by smart wool socks. I got a pair right here. And the reason to wear wool socks isn't really temperature, it's odor resistance, and the big one, blisters. When you travel, you're almost certainly walking more than you do at home, and a wool sock grips your foot instead of sliding against it. So the friction happens between the sock and the shoe, not between the sock and your skin. There are a lot of good options out there. Honestly, I specifically like these targeted cushion socks from Smartwool. I use them whether I'm running a marathon or just chilling at home. They make them in every single length you'd ever want, and they also make compression socks if you're doing a long haul flight. I just like these. They fit my feet well. I've been wearing them for like 10 plus years now. All right, while we're on footwear, I want to talk briefly about shoes. When you're trying to pack a little less, shoes can be really, really tricky. I need my main pair of shoes to be extremely versatile, something that could work for a lot of walking, but also be able to be dressed up or down depending on the circumstance. I'm never gonna go for a big, chunky athletic shoe, and so many walking and hiking shoes look like you just came off a hiking trail. They're also really big. So I really like the shoes by Lems because they're minimal and they have styles that can pull double duty. The Primal Zens here are kind of my day-to-day walkers I use most. If I only took one pair of shoes on a trip, it would likely be these. They have a wide toe box, zero drop, super light, and the sole is very flexible and they pack quite flat. I also like the Kourts. These have a little bit more of a leather tennis shoe feel and they work nicely in a variety of circumstances. Earlier this year, I got the Boulder Summit waterproof boots for a ski trip I took to Austria. Really, really like them. Now, fair warning, all of these are zero drop shoes. So if you've never done that before, it's a bit of an adjustment. Not trying to sell you on zero drop, just telling you what I like. If you want to try it, definitely get them far in advance of any travels and really break them in and get used to using them. But they are better for your feet naturally, and they've got a nice wide toe box. So once you get used to them, you kind of won't want to force your foot into regular shoes ever again. Okay, this might look like a belt, but it's actually a solution to a problem. I've had TSA PreCheck for years, but it didn't matter. My old belt was always setting off the metal detector. This belt from Arcade is elastic and it has no metal in it. Since I started traveling with this thing, I have not had to take my belt off at security since. Not once. And look, there's a lot of ways to piece together a travel setup, but there's one area where a lot of travelers still wing it, and it's not gear related, it's communication. You can survive on translation apps and pointing at menus, but you might spend half of your trip head down in your phone, hoping the Wi-Fi holds. And that is exactly why I asked Rosetta Stone to partner with us on today's video. The all-new Rosetta Stone Sapphire is built for this. It's their newest program, a complete rebuild from the classic app. And what I love is the lessons aren't just random vocab drills. They've structured around real world situations like ordering food, navigating transit, checking into a hotel, and you learn what you'll actually use. It runs on a method called dynamic immersion. Basically, you learn through context and visuals the same way that you learned your first language as a kid. Every lesson makes you read, write, speak, and listen. And since I'm more of a speaking and listening kind of guy, I love that you get pronunciation support from day one through their true accent technology. It gives you instant feedback on your voice, so you train your ear and build real speaking confidence before you travel. The biggest new addition in Sapphire is chat missions, real-time conversation practice where you pick a scenario and get live feedback as you actually try to communicate. It's the closest thing to practicing with the local before you've even booked the flight. If you want to try it out, click the link in my description or scan the QR code here on screen for an exclusive 25% off Rosetta Stone Sapphire, plus access to all 25 of their languages on a single yearly subscription. Big thanks to Rosetta Stone for partnering with us on today's video. So for as much international travel as we do, I prefer to travel with one universal travel adapter rather than a bunch of different plug types. And my preferred options are all by Epica. All their adapters work in 200 destinations worldwide. My favorite of their line that I honestly most gravitate towards is the TA105 Pro because it's quite powerful and it has fast charging capabilities. I do think their new Pulse Duo 140 watt will eventually edge this one out though, because it's twice as powerful and I guess I'm gonna be wattage maxing. None of these convert voltage though, so be careful with your hair tools and things like that. They also don't cover India or South Africa, so just check before you go. But other than that, I just leave one of these in my tech pouch at all times. Another thing you gotta have is a good power bank for travel, because a dead phone in an unfamiliar city could be a real problem, not just an inconvenience. But where possible, I like the things I pack to be able to do more than one job. And so my favorite power bank for years was the Anker 622 MagGo. It snaps magnetically onto the back of your phone, and it folds out into a kickstand, so it's charging your phone and propping it up on the tray table for a movie. It's older tech now, not the most powerful power bank out there, but the kickstand is why I loved it. These days, I'm using the Kourt S4. Same MagSafe technology, same kickstand, but it uses a semi-solid state battery. And that matters because airlines are getting tighter and tighter on the rules around lithium batteries. This runs cooler, resists puncture, and doesn't carry the same fire risk. Still pulls double duty, but it's a safer battery, so I consider it an upgrade. All right, rounding out the tech, smart tracker. I use the AirTag. If you're on Android, you're not left out. Whatever you use, just drop it in your carry-on, drop one in your check bag, and you always know where your stuff is. For the price, this is some of the cheapest peace of mind you can buy. So, I'm not really a souvenir guy. The big thing I take home with me from my travels are memories, and specifically videos of our trip so that I can look back on them in the future. But how do you do that and still be present? Despite YouTube being my job, I don't actually like playing with cameras. When I'm traveling, I just want to focus on the trip. So I want to share a few things here. The first item is arguably my favorite because it helps me get a new perspective. I can be standing on a beach and 30 seconds later, I'm seeing the entire coastline. To me, that's not a distraction from being present. It's an expansion of it. This one is the DJI Air 2S, and there's newer models out there for sure. I've had this about 5 years. This one's discontinued, but what I like about the Air series is they pack down really small, and the image quality is more than I need. It has a full 1-inch sensor. Today, the DJI Air 3S would be the current version. Okay, this little guy right here is one I use constantly for quick shots, and especially filming airplane seats. It's the Insta360 Go 3S. It's small, it's discreet, and you can pop this thing out and get angles that you can't get any other way. The camera module weighs 39 grams and it's magnetic. So with different attachment, you could stick it on a hat, a shirt, somewhere a real camera would never fit. All these shots you're seeing were shot with this camera. It comes with a suction cup, so you could suction it to an airplane window. You could even suction it to the ceiling. You could take the little camera out and set it on tiny ledges. I just really like this thing because of how useful it is. Is the quality highest in the world? Absolutely not. But I'm able to just hit a button. It's fun, it's fast, it's easy. All right, when I'm using an actual camera, this thing is the GOAT, the UNSEXY one-click tripod. One push of a button and it snaps from a handheld grip into a tabletop tripod. I mostly use this when I'm getting airplane footage or when I'm shooting A-roll from like an Airbnb or something, but it's really kind of designed for vlogging, which I would have loved to have back when we first started our channel and we were doing vlogging. This is awesome because it can slip into the tech area of most backpacks and it packs extremely easy. It's great when you need it, but it's truly out of the way when you don't. The Peak Design mobile tripod. This thing is really useful whether you're filming stuff or not. It folds down to about the size of a stack of credit cards. It magnetically snaps to any MagSafe compatible phone or case, and then it unfolds into this sturdy, perfectly balanced tripod. Airplane tray table, hotel desk, a quick time lapse, a selfie. At home, I'll even use this thing to prop up the baby monitor on my phone, for gosh sakes. You don't appreciate how good this is until you've used it. I'm telling you, I never shut up about this thing because I just love it. Okay, headphones. Most people will tell you to get a set of noise canceling over ears, and those are great. I've recommended them a bunch of times, but there's a category almost no one talks about that, in my opinion, blocks out sound just as well, weighs about a quarter as much, and packs infinitely smaller in-ear monitors. These fit your ear so precisely that most of the time they don't need active noise cancellation at all. They're just sealing everything off. Now there's a lot of options out there. I've talked about some pretty affordable ones, but my all-time favorites are these custom molded ones by 1964 ears. Now they're called 64 Audio. Absolutely not for everyone, but this is a buy once, cry once kind of item, and I rarely miss my over ears when I'm traveling with these. All right, next is my travel work setup. So 3 parts. You've got the Roost laptop stand, which in this size is like, I don't know, about a small umbrella, weighs 6 ounces. And you unfold it like this, it raises your screen to eye level. And then because you don't want to type on a raised laptop, you've got the Apple Magic Keyboard Mini and this Logitech Anywhere MS mouse. Been using these a couple years now, really like this setup. That's the whole thing. And it turns any hotel desk into something that you can actually work at for 8 hours. It does add a little bit of bulk to your travel setup. It does add some cost. So if you don't work while you travel, skip it totally. But I love this setup. I take it with me, pretty much anywhere I go. All right, here are some unsexy MVPs, the cheap stuff that has outlasted everything. First, the humble Ziploc bag. I'm not joking, and I'm not gonna pretend this thing is some marvel of engineering. I mean, maybe you could argue that, but it's a Ziploc bag. It costs 10 cents. You probably already have a box of them in your kitchen, and that's exactly the point. At the right size, one of these could be your liquids bag at security. It could be a dry bag for your phone at the beach. It's where the wet swimsuit can go. It's where I keep copies of our important documents buried deep in my bag. I always travel with at least a couple of these. They cost nothing, they weigh nothing. Just bring some with you. Packing cubes. I've tested dozens. I keep coming back to Peak Design. Here's the standard cube. This was my daily driver for years. Self-healing 70D ripstop, ultra zips, and this cool tearaway opening, so you can do that. It's the best option out there, in my opinion, that's got a built-in clean, dirty divider, and it comes with a lifetime warranty. On pure feel, it's still the best cube I've ever used. But if you're trying to hit tighter weight limits and you want more serious compression, I really like these too. These are the Peak Design ultralight cubes. TerraShell fabric, 50D recycled nylon, taped seams, and a full 3-piece set weighs under 100 grams, which is lighter than a single cube from most brands. Now, there's no compression zipper. It's got one U-zip, and then you press the air out through the seal, and almost a vacuum effect. And then when you're done with that, make sure the zipper is real tight. I really like both of these. Toiletry bag. There's way fancier options out there. Gravel, Peak Design, Air, all gorgeous, but I'm pretty basic about this, and I don't see the reason to spend $100. All I need is something that packs small, has some water resistance, and has a hook, because half the hotel bathrooms I walk into have no counter space at all. This is the Osprey Ultralight Roll. It rolls up tight, it weighs almost nothing, and I've carried this same one to almost 30 countries. I will not travel without a water bottle, and my favorite by far is the Owala Free Sip. I use this every single day. Dual wall vacuum insulated stainless steel, so your water's still cold 6 hours into the day. There's a straw for sipping and a wide spout for chugging, so you're not swapping caps. And the button on top locks it shut, which is really great when it's riding in a bag next to your laptop. The one thing I do is I actually take out the internal straw, because then I can crack this open on a plane at altitude and it doesn't spew out everywhere. Comes in a bunch of sizes, a ton of different colors, and as a man who enjoys being hydrated, I'm a big fan. Now, for every item that survived, there were a lot that didn't, and some of them are products that you are being told to buy right now. So if you want to see the 11 most overhyped travel products you should probably avoid, that's the next video to watch. Thank you so much for watching. Happy travels.